Hello everyone, welcome to this video, and today I'm glad to have Jasly this episode where we'll talk about some of the ideas about life coaching, and because this is where I learn a lot about myself from the life coachings I have with Jasly. I'm super honored that today she accepted my challenge to have this video together so that it can benefit everyone of you out there. Welcome, Jasly. And maybe the first of all, for the benefits of our audience, just quickly introduce about yourself. Who are you and what you are doing currently, and so on.
Thank you, Vincent. And hi, everyone. My name is Jasly Kong, and I'm a life coach for young adults. Yes, and there's a story behind why young adults that we're going to explore later on, right? But just a very brief introduction is that I help young adults with their life challenges, mainly relationships and also career. Yes, and that's about me. Back to
so
you,
relationship
Vincent.
and career.
Yes.
I thought it's like life, there's a lot of part of it, right? So you're just more focusing on that,
Yes.
but you still do others as well, right? Case by case?
Well, I try not to do too much.
Okay, so
I try not to do too varied in a way that if let's say you are young adults coming in for special educations like autism, I will tell you that I can't help you. Even though I'm equipped with that, I have certifications in special ed, but I would say it's not wise for me to actually handle all the cases because everyone has their own expertise and passion as well. So it's very important that we know what's our passion and what kind of problem that we'd like to solve.
I like that because it's a bit more focused and specialized. Instead of like jack of all trades, master of none. That's good. This is a great constant reminder for myself as well to be more focused instead of like knowing everything. I'm curious, right? What do you do previously? I heard you are a teacher, right? In a school, and now you are a life coach. Maybe could you walk us through the journey? How do you make the change from a school teacher up to now life coach, which is you are on your own?
I like your question, Vincent. What happened was that I'm already in my almost in my late 40s to 50. So in my 20s, I was working in school as a school counselor. It was my starting point as my career progression, and up till I think late 30s, I quit my job out of a very, very deep realization. Alright, then I turned myself into a so-called freelance life coach, and then I built my own business from henceforth. It was school counselor for teenagers and kids, and now life coaching for adults. Oh,
that's good. That's where I actually heard a word called realization. Could you maybe tell us more about what do you realize about the world and whatever that you wanted to do?
And that led to the change, right? You see, I spent about 10 years in school with teenagers and young kids, and I noticed that it was really out of a deep realization that I noticed that whenever the kids come to me, the teenagers came to me, they go back to the same patterns of parenting and the same environment at home. So the growth is so limited. They come to me, they get a bit of growth, they get a bit of changes ready, but they go back to the same pattern. Same pattern as in the parenting patterns and also the environment. At the end of the day, we're going back to ground zero after some years. All right, and that caused a lot of frustrations from inside as well for someone who wants to see changes and sustaining changes in people. I asked myself, what is the thing that I can do? I said, okay, now I want to go for young adults. And why young adults like Vincent, right? Not yet married, not yet babies. haven't got babies yet. That was a very, very important stage in life whereby if we could actually sow some seeds in young adults to have the awareness of mental health, awareness of human psychology in a very basic foundation, that will actually help them into the parenting later on. I want to do that piece of work of prevention better than cure, more on looking at the kids with problems and coming into my counseling room. So that was the deep realization.
That's a great. So now, on top of that questions, right? I'm curious. You worked as a teacher for about 10 years.
Yes.
And when you, what actually when you say you wanted to come out and become freelance life coach, do you face any challenges? Is there a lot of like stories in yourself? Oh, if I quit, I don't have the money and stuff.
Not so much about the money, because I think that when I was young, my mom has equipped me with relevant skills when it comes to financial part of it. I have a very supporting husband as well that could actually support me financially. It wasn't so much about the money thing that I was struggling when I was moving out. It's because I was in Singapore then, that I wanted to get back to my hometown and start off there. It's like going back to a town that you know no one, because I was away for too long. Since 17 years old, I was away. Until I was like 36, I went back home. So I know no one there. There's no network. No one knows me. I don't even know how to actually enroll for a business license. I don't even know how does a taxation works in Malaysia. I'm like totally lost my records back in Malaysia. I started from zero when it comes to networking. No clienteles as well. Just simply don't know how to start. Yeah, so that was the struggle then.
Definitely, and I can see that you have grown so much from how many years that you are doing this?
About 10.
About 10 years, and you have a great followings and a community as well, which definitely myself is benefited from this the community. It's not about just the coaching one-to-one, but it's really about the learning with the community as well, which you did great in building up the community of support for us in here. Now that's great. We definitely can chat more about that, but right now let's go on to the next one.
All right.
What's a piece of advice you give often? I'm sure you give advice often in your coaching, even though I know coaching we don't really give advice. Yeah. So, but in terms of during your conversation with your clients, right? But the piece of advice that you give often, but which more people would take seriously. I'm sure not everyone takes your advice seriously. You should do this, you should do that. We'll just listen it and we don't do anything about it. What is that piece of advice, and why do you think they don't take it seriously? What's the reason? Is this the fear and so on?
Good question. What is the one advice that I wish that people would take it more seriously, in which I often say to people, but they didn't take it seriously? Let me see. I think it would be, don't chase titles, but you chase the kind of problems that you want to solve in life. A lot of young adults that I've met, they always come to me like, I don't know what's my passion. Some of them like, I'm a lawyer, I kind of like okay with my job. I'm an auditor, I'm kind of okay with my job, but I don't really like it at the end of the day. A lot of time, because of our very conventional education system, that we were taught to chase titles. I'm a lawyer, I'm an engineer, right? And that is what makes all of us, including myself in the past, we got stuck there. Because we never actually broaden our perspective into what is the one problem that, even though it gets difficult, I just want to solve it no matter what. The moment when you get into that point of what is that one thing that I want to solve it over and over and over again, that kind of problems, then we look into it, we would actually start a journey from there onwards. Then the titles will come later on.
I actually totally agree with you on that point of the advice where focus on the problem, right? Not on the title, not on the money. And so do you think, yeah, that is a good piece of advice that you have given. But what do you think they don't take it seriously?
Good idea. Good question, Vincent. What is the one thing that very much into familiarity? Because most people are familiar with titles. When you go for Chinese New Year, everyone sit down, oh, 你的儿子做什么? What kind of job that your son is doing? Oh, he's an engineer, he's a doctor.
Yeah, the salary as well. Right?
The salary that comes with it, right?
Yeah.
Every gathering, every family gathering, friends gathering, we're talking about, oh, what's your job, what's your job, what's your job? So we never really sit down and say, okay, I am someone who solved this kind of problem.
Exactly. Even if you talk about it, no one understands about the problem that you're solving.
What kind of thing? Yeah, that is the issue. So it goes back to familiarity. When we are not familiar with something, we don't want to touch it. It's just like if I were to tell you this bottle of water is a magic water, alright, after you drink, there's some kind of miracles will happen, you probably would say, let's not touch it, because it's something that I'm not familiar with. Yeah,
and when I navigate through my life, I also realized I actually have this kind of awareness after I having some of the coaching session with you. It's all about the self-awareness. When I realized that a lot of the things, decisions that we make in life, actually is about the familiarity. We do not want to jump into something that we are uncertain, because when we are uncertain, there's a fear, right? There's a fear, and then that really like sets us back, right? We don't take the decision, maybe we think a bit longer and so on, right? That is where, yeah, I totally agree that when you can give them the advice, but if they don't take it seriously, they can't change anything. Right? Yeah. So you can't change the result if you don't change your actions. Yeah, that's good. Now, the final questions that I have for you is this: your thoughts on life, how life coaching can be helpful for personal and professional life. I know you have been doing for the past 10 years. You have met so many different people. I'm definitely glad to have met you, and I'm probably in this journey about 2 to 3 years now. But I wanted to hear from you. How do you think life coaching can be helpful for everyone?
Just one word for me, which is clarity. A lot of people get stuck in a life journey, including myself, because we cannot see what we cannot see. Life coaching is not so much about fixing another individuals. Life coaching is so much about sitting down with you, being next to you, and guide you towards clarity. Because when we see that, oh, it's like that, so we see that clarity, we know how to move on. A lot of people, most people would know how to move on when they see the clarity. So it goes back to clarity. The moment you touch your clarity, the person would know, oh, let's do this, let's do that. And all young adults, they are all capable to make own decisions also.
Yeah, I think that's really like a big thing about the clarity. Now let's practice a bit on this coaching here, so that our audience know like how a typical coaching session will look like.
Alright, okay.
I'm the coach right now.
Yes.
And you are the client, for example.
Good job.
Now, Jasly.
Yes.
You mentioned about clarity. I heard you mention about the clarity earlier on. Could you tell me more about what do you mean by clarities in life, right? In some of the problems. Can you explain more what clarity means to you?
Very good question again. Right, clarity to me, it simply means that I know the root cause of my issue. Does it come from which factor? Was it come from my family background? Was it come from the environment itself? Was it come from my bosses? Was it come from the workplace? Or was it come from the friends? Where does the root cause of the issue that I was facing? You need to know first the root cause itself to have a better clarity, and also very much into how much of self-awareness that I have in coping with the root cause itself. Oh, I'm aware that I'm from this kind of family, this kind of background. Because of upbringing itself, I see myself in another stage of life. Oh, that's where I want to go, where I am right now. But clarity is about looking at staircases as well. Yes, and it's not that every time we get to go up all the way. Sometimes we go up a bit, we retreat back 2 steps, and we go forward, and it's all right. It's about clarity, knowing where you are. I'm here. Oh, the root cause is here. Oh, this is where I want to go. I know the how part, how to climb. I need to have a lot of resources. Now we have the AI, not an issue anymore. It goes back to where I am right now and where I want to go. That kind of clarity. Okay?
That's good. So as you can see, this is how a typical coaching session will look like, where actually for me, I'm just asking questions and the client will just, you see, Jasly will just talk and talk and talk. It's a self-realization session where you set up the intention time to really go through with the coach, and then the coach will just, agree. The coach won't really judge you in any way that you wanted to do, and they are just here to support your journey in that. I would say that coaching has really helped me a lot in terms of my self-awareness, because I do have the answers myself. Right? It's just that I need someone to maybe dig deeper into like, why do you think like that? Which we don't ask ourselves that often, that kind of questions. Why do I do this? What's the problem with that? We are just focusing on doing, right? And we didn't really slow down, and that's reflect, exactly how, slow down and reflect. That is a big part that I have gotten through my life coaching journey, whether or not with Jasly and some of the others from my company, right? So it's really about finding the root cause and the clarity, and as well as unlocking your own potential within yourself. It's not really about mentorship, because mentorship is quite different. In terms of mentorship, they will tell you like what to do.
And
the
how part.
The how part, yes.
The how part.
And the coaching will not be telling you the how part, but it's more like accompany you through your growing journey. And that's good. I think any last thing for you about that you wanted to tell our audience here about this life coaching journey, and do you encourage folks like to just seek out for help wherever they need help?
One last thing from me probably would be spend time learning about yourself. We have spent time learning about too many subjects in the past. Since you were in a school until you go to uni, you'll be learning a lot of things. But have you actually spent time to learn about yourself? I think that's all for me today.
That's really, really great. I remember I started to learn about myself from DIS. And from there, I started to know, oh, I'm more D person, but how come I changed from to I person? Right? This is where you have a realization about yourself, what is your strength and what is your weakness, and how you can improve more on that. And this is really a key point from our sessions here. I hope you have a great takeaways from these sessions, and we hope to see you next time in the next video. Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.